Hello everyone, welcome to the barrier draw for the Doncaster and the Derby. Hello if you're watching at home on Sky Thoroughbred Central, and to everyone here at Royal Randwick in the chairman's room. Two barrier draws, firstly the Doncaster and then the Derby. A much anticipated day one of the championships, which will lead into the exciting day two, headlined by the Queen Elizabeth. The Doncaster has attracted 16 runners this year, 16 in the Doncaster, and the top four in betting are all 3-year-olds. She's an alibi. This market is open with tab and will remain open right through the barrier draw as it's done live. She's an alibi is an even money favourite for the Doncaster. Autumn Boy is second favourite at $6, 60's third favourite at $11, and Attica, the other 3-year-old, is $15. They are the top in betting for the Doncaster. The Australian Derby has attracted a field of 13, with the favourite being Observer at $3, Green Spaces at $3.50, and Storm Leopard paying the late entry fee this morning. It is $4.50 and third favourite. Steve McMahon is the interim CEO of the Australian Turf Club. He'd like to welcome you all here this morning. Steve.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking forward to a fantastic day of racing on this Easter Saturday. Whether it's the Doncaster, whether it's the Derby, whether it's the Asahi Super Dry race, where you've got the TJ Smith, which we're now calling the Autumn Everest this year, or whether it's the Inglis Sires. It's going to be a fantastic day where transportation, if you're catching the train, you're catching the light rail, catching a ferry, catching a bus, is free and included in your ticket. So don't worry about the petrol crisis. Focus on that. Get to the track this Easter Saturday. They say you shouldn't mix with sport and religion, but as an Irish Catholic, I find that a lot of people here will be praying for a good barrier. On Friday, when you do the form, you'll be praying. And then on Saturday, as you indulge in our award-winning food, beverages, and have a day on the punt, you can forgive yourself on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Saturday. See you at the track. Thank you.
Good luck at confession on Sunday, Steve. The Doncaster Mile is our first barrier draw. Now, the Chairman of Stewards, Tom Moxon, Senior Steward Steve Ralton will come and man the barrels. I'm assuming, Steve, you are saddlecloths? Yep. Saddlecloths out of your barrel, and the actual barriers you will draw will be here in front of Tom Moxon. So 16 to draw. Let's get the barrier draw underway with the first number out for the $4 million 2026 Doncaster Mile. And here is the first horse. Horse number 2, Pericles, 57 kilos. An $18 chance. Jason Walsh from Godolphin will draw. Craig Williams rides for Björn Baker. Pericles has drawn 14. 14 of 16. Pericles, barrier 14. The second horse out is horse number 13, NCAP, with 50 kilos. A 100 to 1 chance with Tab. Alicia Collett riding for Gary Portelli. Peter Blair to draw the barrier for number 13, NCAP. Barrier 4. 4 for NCAP. The next horse out. 16. Horse 16, 60s. With 49 kilos, one of the 3-year-olds. Charlie Duckworth to draw. Chris Waller trains. Rachel King rides. 60s. Has drawn 16. The outside alley. Horse 16 draws 16. 60s. 10. Horse 10. Attica. Another 3-year-old. Andrew Atkins riding for Joe Pride with 50 kilos. Jason Walsh for Godolphin. Their second runner in the race. Here's the 3-year-old, another 3-year-old's barrier. Barrier 3. Barrier 3 for Attica. Number 3. Horse 3, Headley Grange. Another one for Joe Pride. Jason Collett, an $18 chance. William Mannering to draw the barrier for Headley Grange. 7. Barrier 7. 7. For Headley Grange, 54.5 kilos. 5. Horse 5 is Linebacker, a $26 chance with 53 kilos. David Hines to draw. Zach Lloyd rides for John O'Shea and Tom Charlton. Here's Linebacker's barrier. Barrier 9. Gate 9 for Linebacker.
Number 4.
Horse 4, Evaporate. Zach Purton flies into ride. For the Hayes boys, Damien Keogh will draw the barrier for Evaporate, 54.5, a $26 chance. 12 for Evaporate. Barrier 12, the ride of Zach Purton, who's also here to ride Giga Kick in the TJ.
11.
Horse 11, Crystal Clear. Braith Knock for Annabelle and Rob Archibald. Jeremiah as a party to draw the barrier for Crystal Clear, a 50-1 chance with 50 kilos. Barrier 8. Barrier 8 for Crystal Clear. So we're halfway. 8 out, 8 to come. Horse 12 is She Light. The key stable from Victoria. Daniel Healy is going to draw. We've got no rider down for She Light just yet. A 50-1 chance, 50 kilos. 15. Barrier 15 for She Light.
9.
Horse 9, Vivier, 51 kilos. Reece Jones riding for Kieran Maher. Peter Butts to draw for Vivier, $26 with 51 kilos. Vivier's the next one out. 11. Barrier 11 for Vivier. Next horse out in the Doncaster.
6.
Horse 6, Militarise. Chris Waller trains, Tommy Berry rides. Rosemary Mueller to draw the barrier for Militarise, a 50-1 chance with 53 kilos. You've got 10. Barrier 10 for Militarise.
Number 7.
7, Autumn Boy, second favourite. Charlie Duckworth to draw. Karen McAvoy will ride at the 52 kilos for Chris Waller, who's trying to equal Gay and TJ's record of 7 Doncasters. They both have 7. Chris has got 6. Barrier 1 for Autumn Boy. Second favourite, Autumn Boy, Barrier 1.
Number 1.
Horse 1, Gringotts, with the top weight of 58.5 kilos. Nash rides for Kieran Maher. Barry O'Brien will draw the $18 chance Gringotts, the top weight. Barrier 2. Barrier 2. We've got 3 left, including the favourite.
14.
Horse 14 is Hell Sing. Annabelle and Rob Archibald. Annabelle's going to draw for Hell Sing. No rider yet. 50 kilos, 100-1 Hell Sing. Barrier 5 for Hell Sing. There's 2 to go. There's Step Hardy and the favourite She's an Alibi.
8.
Barrier 8, Step Hardy, Tyler Schiller. Horse 8, Step Hardy, Tyler Schiller and Paul Pruska. Tom, you can do the honours here. The second last
6.
Barrier 6 for Step Hardy. So Fred Nofke has flown all this way down from central Queensland to attend this barrier draw. Come on up, Fred. She's an Alibi is the last horse out. You're here to choose a barrier. Unfortunately, you've got what's left. Nothing to choose from. This is what you're left with. 13.
I already knew this.
13. You knew it.
Yeah, I already knew it. I was going to be the last horse drawn out, and I thought 13.
You thought so?
I hope.
You're a genius, Fred.
I hope,
You're a genius.
but I knew I was coming down here to draw the last spot.
You got it.
Somehow 13 was in the brain.
Well, Fred's got 13. I don't know what he hoped for, but it's what he knew he was getting. So She's an Alibi. The favourite has drawn 13. Unlucky for some. Jamie Mellon will ride for Peter Moody and Catherine Coleman. Peter Moody hasn't won a Doncaster yet, but he did strap Lygon Arms for TJ Smithy's old boss back in 1987. So they're the barriers. We'll go through them one more time. Gringotts in 2, Pericles in 14, Headley Grange 7, Evaporate 12, Linebacker 9, Militarise in 10, Autumn Boys Barrier 1, Stepati 6, Vivier 11, Attica in 3, Crystal Clear in 8, She Light 15, NCAP 14, Helsing 5, She's an Alibi in 13 and 60s in 16. So let's hear from the Chris Wallace stable. Charlie Duckworth is with Ali Mosley.
Yeah, Charlie, a bit of a mixed bag with the draw. Militarise, pretty good in 10, was probably the fairest of them all.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we've got inside and outside and one in the middle, so gives ourselves a chance. He's obviously running it twice already and put in a brave and solid performance on both occasions. So, yeah, Militarise it's often harder to win the handicaps at your multiple attempts, but he's going very well, so fingers crossed.
All bases covered. Our second favourite there in Autumn Boy has drawn in 1. What do you make of that for him?
Yeah, look, you can never complain. Obviously, I think everyone often wants to draw sort of 2, 3, 4, just so you can get off the fence if you need to get off the fence. But look, you can never complain with 1. His work yesterday was really good. Karen came in, the blinkers go back on, so there's a lot to like about him. He's sort of primed and ready.
60s has been in fine form this prep. He's flying.
Yeah, exactly. He's airborne. Shame he's drawn awkward, but Rachel knows him really well. Rachel rides at 49 easily, which is it's a hard thing to do, to be honest. So yeah, look, he's going to need obviously a little bit of luck from that gate, but we'll just see the speed map and work out where he ends up.
Another big weekend for the team ahead.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, that's from the Waller team. I think Annabelle's about to join you, Ali, with runners, I'm sure, across the day, but let's talk about our Doncaster runners.
Yeah, Annabelle, you've had a bit more luck with the barrier draw than Charlie did. Crystal clear in 8. How's he come through that win?
Yeah, really well. Just had a little freshen up after that, but he's come back in terrific order. Obviously, to win that first up over 1500 was a really good effort, and we knew he'd have a lot of improvement to come. So he'll need to. It's a very good field, but nice lightweight, and Braithnaght gets on very well with him. So happy that we've got a nice draw.
Braith has been riding particularly well. He's been getting lots of opportunities with you.
Yeah, he has. We use him a lot. He's very talented, and I think he's ridden this horse in its last 8 starts, so he knows him very well.
And then Helsing, who's a bigger prize, but has also drawn not too badly there in 5.
Yeah, I wasn't sure he would get in actually, but obviously it's not a full field, so we were happy to roll the dice. It's a big prize money race. Look, he'll have to lift and improve again, but he's an honest horse. He loves Randwick, and he's got a nice gait and a lightweight. He's the sort of horse that makes his own luck up on speed.
Any ideas on a jockey yet?
Just working on that.
Lightweight, getting slim pickings?
Yeah, possibly. There's a couple of options maybe down in Melbourne. I'd love to try and get Ryan Houston on him. We use him a lot in Melbourne. He's very good on horses that roll forward, but just got to get him off whatever he's engaged on at Caulfield.
Watch this space. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, and finally, before we have a look at the Derby barrier draw, we like everyone who's drawing a horse in the Derby, if you could come across and take up a seat on the lounges in front so you're nice and close to the barrier. But before we do that, another guest for Ali. It's the owner of She's an Alibi, Fred Noffke.
Well, Fred, you're somewhat of a prophet, it seems. Barrier 13, lucky for you this year, hopefully.
Lucky for some. All my life I've said 13, lucky for some.
Sounds like it was meant to be.
Yes, I don't walk under ladders, but 13 doesn't faze me at all.
I don't mind 13 either. Now tell me, who's looking after the cows and the property while you're here?
Hopefully they're looking after themselves, because I didn't tell them I was going away.
You're staying now for the rest of the week?
No, I've got to go back to my shop in Ralston, so there tomorrow and Thursday, and then fly back down Friday.
How's this week been for you? How's the nerves so far?
Nerves have been very good, actually. Each race and each thing that happens, there's a more calmness, I didn't, because no one wanted to believe me how good she was. But, not so much, but, yeah, I had such an opinion. I thought destiny was coming from a long time ago.
Were you the one that found her online there? What's the story?
Yeah, well, just because I live in the bush, and COVID was the first time I started buying horses. And that was all, everything was online. And I just sort of got a little bit of a pattern, and then I took a bit of advice here and there. And I mostly looked for certain styles of horses. And it put me in good stead. I've had more fast ones than slow ones, but none of them as good as this one possibly.
You might have a call up as a bloodstock agent soon.
No, I've been an auctioneer, and it wasn't necessarily an enjoyment job, actually. Well, it was a good job, but yes, it was a stepping stone to other things.
Hard game. How's the filly? What's the update from Moods?
Very, very good. This morning I had a report come through this morning, and I think that Luke Nolan he's just feeling a bit sad that somebody else is going to get the glory, hopefully.
Barrier 13, you're a prophet so far. Who knows? Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Trying to become the first 3-year-old filly to win since the champion filly Sunline, won back in 1999. Okay, so that's the Doncaster. Let's proceed to the Australian Derby over 2,400 metres as part of day one of the championships at Royal Randwick. We have 13 barriers to draw. At this stage, no official rider down for Road to Paris or Savvy Santa. So let's go with the barriers. First of all, the saddlecloth numbers to come out, and then we'll invite a connection up to draw their barrier. Here's the first horse out in the Derby. Horse 2. It is the Kiwi, Road to Paris. Roger James and Robert Wellwood. Tom, if you could draw the barrier for the Kiwi, Road to Paris, the New Zealand Derby winner, an $11 chance. Barrier 10. Barrier 10 for the Kiwi, Road to Paris.
13.
Horse 13. Designation. Matthew Smith trains, Tyler Schiller rides, and Tom, you can do the honours again here for Designation. A 100 to 1 chance in the Derby. Barrier 4. Barrier 4 for Designation. The next horse out.
10.
Horse 10. KJ. Mark Zara for Clayton Douglas. Clayton is here. He'll, of course, saddle up Giga Kick in the TJ on the same day. But here with his Derby runner, a 50 to 1 chance, KJ. And you've got Barrier 1. Barrier 1 for KJ.
8.
Horse 8 is Savvy Santa, runner for Chris Waller. Lorenzo Diodonna is going to draw Savvy Santa, a $26 chance. The next horse out, we don't have a rider notified us just yet. 11. Barrier 11 for Savvy Santa. The next horse out in the Australian Derby.
7.
Horse 7, Federalist. The Blue Blood. Dylan Gibbons rides for Team Hawks. Tom, if you could draw the barrier for the $11 chance, Federalist.
7.
Barrier 7. Gate 7, Federalist.
11.
Horse 11, Bing Eye. Michael D. Stewie Ramsey is going to draw the barrier. Michael D. for Peter Moody and Catherine Coleman, hoping to win a big double. 9. 9 for Bing Eye. 4, Deal Done Fast. Damien Lane, Matt Kamani. Jason May's going to draw the barrier for Deal Done Fast. Here's the barrier. Horse number 4, a $26 chance. Gate 8. Barrier 8 for Deal Done Fast. 9. Victorious Spirit. Second runner for Moody and Coleman. Luke Nolan will ride. Tom, can you do the draw for the connections of Victorious Spirit? 13. Another 13 for a Moody Coleman runner. So the outside gate in the Derby for Victorious Spirit.
Number 1.
Horse 1, Observer. This is the favourite. James McDonald, Kieran Maher, Jason Walsh draws. One of 2 runners for Godolphin. Observer has drawn. Barrier 12, 1 in from the outside. Barrier 12 for the favourite Observer.
12.
12, Are You Kidding? Ashley Morgan riding for Paul Massara and Leah Gavranich. Paul Spencer to draw the barrier for Are You Kidding? 100 to 1 in the Derby. 3. Barrier 3 for Are You Kidding? So we've got 3 to draw.
5.
Horse 5, Storm Leopard, winner of the Tulloch on Saturday. Melinda Metzke is going to draw. The Hayes boys train. Tommy Berry rides. $4.50 third favourite. 5. Barrier 5. They paid the late entry for the Tulloch winner to get into the Derby, and Storm Leopard has come up with 5. 6 is One Step Closer for O'Shea and Charlton. Zach Lloyd, Carl Holt will draw the barrier for One Step Closer. A $26 chance in the Derby. Barrier 2, gate 2. So there's one left, and that'll be Green Spaces. Jason Walsh will draw. Horse 3, Green Spaces, second favourite, $3.50. Rachel King, Björn Baker. The last one left is barrier 6. Barrier 6. So here's the Derby. Observer, barrier 12. Road to Paris, 10. Green Spaces, 6. Deal Done Fast, 8. Storm Leopard, 5. One Step Closer, 2. Federalist, 7. Savvy Santa, 11. Victoria Spirit, 13. KJ, 1. Bing Eye, 9. Are You Kidding? 3. Designation, 4. 13 to line up in the Australian Derby over 2,400 metres. A big day coming up for trainer Clayton Douglas.
It will be, Clayton, and you're ticking the boxes so far. You've got Mark Zara aboard. You've drawn barrier 1 for KJ.
Yeah, happy days. That's perfect. He's going to get every opportunity from there, and he's still quite a lightly raced horse that is still learning, so to draw a nice gate's very, very beneficial.
Only 4 starts. He was third in the Alistair Clark last time out. We haven't seen him here. How's he travelled up? Is he here yet?
Yeah, he's here. He had a gallop this morning here on the Kenzo and worked really well, and he's, it feels like he's been in before, so really happy with how he is. He's nice and fit and forward. I think he'll run the trip, and from that gate he should get a lovely run.
Has he always been a horse who's been quite progressive, who you've seen something with him?
Yeah, he was hopeless his first couple of trials. He couldn't keep up, so it's amazing how he's come on, this horse, and every time he's gone on the race he's got better and better. He drew wide at Caulfield and worked hard the other day and was a really good third, and I think he'll run the 2,400 out, no worries.
Looking forward to seeing him, and of course Giga Kick. Has he been enjoying his time up in the sunshine that we have here in New South Wales?
Yeah, he's good. He's obviously an old seasoned campaigner now, and he seems great for Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes third up. He seems like he's ready to go, and he should be hard to beat.
What's his work been like here? I know you like taking him to the beach, and he seems to always thrive at Randwick.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He likes going this way, and his last start was super. I think he's trained on really well. He's got a great record, third up in the 1,200 here. He's an Everest winner, so everything's ticking the boxes.
Can't wait to see them both. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, the TJ Smith field and also the size produce, and I believe the country championships will all be out sometime this morning, maybe the country championships later today. That will complete today's acceptances, and then the rest of the fields will be out tomorrow. Big day coming up for Godolphin, Ali, with runners right across the board.
It certainly is, and you've got 2 here in the Derby. We'll touch on Observer, who is in 12 there, and then you also have Green Spaces in 6.
Yeah, Observer's got plenty of galloping room out there, and luckily we've got the world's best jockey engaged, so we'll leave it to him. But we're excited about getting the horse back to 1.5 miles. Obviously a Victoria Derby winner, and he looks well placed to try and win the Sydney equivalent.
Big free moving horse who doesn't mind a bit of his own room, as you suggested, so maybe barrier 12 isn't too much of his detriment?
Yeah, look, he's shown adaptability in his racing style. He tends to settle on speed, so James will get the chance to come across as he pleases, hopefully. And look, we're really excited about him at the trip, and getting to Sydney again second time around. We just felt first time at Rosehill might have just blunted his finish a bit, so we're looking forward to him running this weekend.
Green Spaces has been the progressive horse that we've all been watching and waiting for him to get out to this Derby trip. He's drawn 6. He looks as though he's ticking the boxes so far.
Yeah, he had a flashing light on him, didn't he, in the Rosehill Guineas, and all credit to Björn Baker, who, when he won the Spring Stakes at Newcastle, made very clear that he thought he was a Derby prospect, and he arrives at the race looking a great chance.
You also then have Pericles, of course. What do you make of him there in 14, Craig Williams aboard?
Yeah, we might have hoped for a slightly softer draw than that, but I think the horse is in career best form. He had no luck there in the rider, but still finished off brilliantly to run third. And, most of the field are down in the weights, and he's one of the few up the top. He's run some outstanding races here at Randwick over big feature miles, and we expect him to do the same this weekend.
And Attica, of course, a big, strong horse. He's always been one who we've had our eye on. What do you make of him this weekend?
Yeah, we're looking forward to stepping him out. We've had this race as a long-range target for him. We're hoping maybe for a fuller field than it is, but plenty of speed with big prize money on offer. He's drawn soft there. We'd like to get him to the middle of the track if that's possible. So Joe's extremely pleased with how he's prepped up for the race, and if there is enough tempo on to allow him to finish, we expect him to be very strong late.
How's Tentaris? He had a nice quiet trial, albeit it looked as though he was really trucking along there.
Yeah, look, he's in great form. A horse we're hugely excited about. You know, it's a very strong race at the weekend, and he'll have to bring his best, but we expect him to do so.
No issues after bouncing back off that. Was it cardiac arrhythmia in his last run?
Yeah, no, he's absolutely in great shape. Trained brilliantly. For all intents and purposes, that was an issue that we were happy to dismiss of sorts. We thought he performed brilliantly, carrying a big weight on a day that didn't really suit his racing pattern. So, no, we expect him to turn up here on Saturday and give his best.
Big weekend ahead for the Blue Army.
Thanks, Ali.
Okay, yes, I think 9 acceptors for the TJ, released a little bit later. Tempted to wait, it seems, for the Arrowfield, but Tentaris will be there. Now let's hear from Matt Kamani.
Still done fast, drawn in barrier 8 there. What do you make of that in his last run in Sydney?
Yeah, I was delighted with the barrier. I think it's a perfect spot for him because he wants a little bit of room. And we got a barrier 1 in the Victoria Derby, and that worked for him then. But he's a bit more mature now, a bit more experienced, and I think being on the outside of horses will help him. I thought his run in the Rosehill Guineas was good, but he was stuck on the rail, and he just had to check off heels just as they increased the tempo, and it meant he was very quickly 2 lengths off them, but was finishing off really well, I thought, and through the line was powerful and joined them very quickly. So I think that bodes well for stepping out in distance, and I think this track will really suit him.
And how has he come through that?
Yeah, he's in great shape. He's a sort of very up and about colt, very boisterous, very full of himself, but sensible and manageable, like a lot of Dundeals, I think. And he's a typical one of those. He's got a fair bit of fastnet rock and a fair bit of the dam side in him as well. So he's a nice blend, and hopefully that's the key to winning a derby.
Interested to see him in the yard as well. I worked with your sister over the Flemington Carnival, and she gave him a good push there in the Victoria Derby, and he ran right up to it in third.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear it. Usually it hasn't tipped a single one of mine, but they all ran placing, so she came out worse. But no, she liked him. He used to be a bit of a terror in the tie-ups. Like, he took a lot of managing Jason May, who's my assistant and who did the draw, which I was very happy with. He had to really sort of wrangle him in the tie-ups, but he seems to be improving and growing up. And at Rosehill the other day, he was very sensible, and hopefully that's a sign that it's all coming together nicely for him.
I suppose that can be quite typical of the Dundeals as well. They've got that attitude, but they just seem to furnish and develop each time they step out.
Yeah, I think so. That's definitely a correct assessment of them, I think. That's certainly been my experience.
Only more to come. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Matt Kamani with Deal Done Fast, a $26 chance in the Derby. We've got markets coming up with Tim Ryan shortly, but final word goes to Kieran Maher, who's got Gringotts and Vivier in the Doncaster. Observer, the favourite in the Derby. And Ali, find out if Jimmy is coming to the TJ.
Well, there you go. That, I guess, should be my first question then. Greg's already asked it. Will we see Jimmy this weekend?
Yeah, at this stage we will. He worked yesterday, travelled up fine. I had a bit of cardiac arrhythmia watching the race his last run, but he seems to have come through it really well. I don't like making excuses for them. He had a couple, bit of stuff down his throat and a couple of black eyes, but he seems to have come through it pretty well.
He's always a consistent performer, but he does seem to thrive here in Sydney too from previous runs.
Yeah, he definitely does. Look, I was wrapped with him leading into the race, so Zara was pretty adamant that just nothing went right. He was sort of buffeted around a fair bit. So hopefully he can bounce back.
First horse, when you came over and saw what I'd written down on my page there for the barrier drawing, Gringotts, was 2, and you had a little smile on your face.
Yeah, I was wrapped. Nash come in and rode some work this morning, and he said, we need to draw a gate, and I said, we're about due. So thankfully, I was wrapped to see that. So he's got a big weight, so he needed he needs an economical run, and from 2 he generally bounces pretty well and should have a favourable run from there, you would think.
Vivier in 11. She was a real eye catcher last start.
Yeah, I'm wrapped with her. I think she's in super order. Drops to 51. Carried a decent weight last start, and I think she's in career best form, which she'll need to be in this field. But I'm pretty happy with her.
We've heard from Jason on Observer, but you've been happy with his work since we last saw him there at Rosehill?
He worked this morning, and he seems in great order actually. He's come through it well. He looks great, and excited to get him out to the 1.5 miles again.
All systems go for the weekend. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kieran. Thank you, Ali. And let's go to Tim Ryan from Tab. Rightio, start with the Doncaster. Barrier 13 for She's a Alibi. Barrier 1 for Autumn Boy. They went in as first and second favourites. You were betting live. What did you do to their prices?
Yeah, we were an even money chance. She's an Alibi before the draw. She'd been very, very popular with punters for the last couple of weeks. She was actually over 70% of all the money bet in all in markets was on She's an Alibi. So punters had been telling me she should be an odds-on chance. I'd resisted that urge to this point, knowing that only in recent history, Wink's the only horse to start as an odds-on chance. She started as a $1.80 favourite in a Doncaster. So she was evens. She drew barrier 13. I don't think that's a bad draw by any sense, but I did turn her out. I went $2 out to $2.10. And the main reason I did that is because her main rival, Autumn Boy, barrier 1, I think that's a big advantage for him. Blinker's first time. He can settle closer. He can be in front of her in the run. So I shortened him up 6 into 5 with her going out from $2 to $2.10. 60s drew the outside gate. I just pushed him out a little bit, 11 out to 13. Gringotts, I thought was a great barrier draw for him. He can settle closer with Nasharilla on. He firms up a little bit, 18 into 15, and he's on the same line there with the other 3-year-old in Attica, who is a $15 chance. Then we're out to Headley Grange and Pericles, both $18 chances. And we have 4 horses on the $26 line, Evaporate, Linebacker, Stepati, and Vivier. It's going to be a great betting race, the Doncaster Mile. 3-year-olds really dominating the betting. That form through the Randwick Guineas looks outstanding. And I wouldn't be surprised to see She's an Alibi firm from that 210 quote. As I said, she's been popular for the last couple of weeks. She's got that big win over Autumn Boy. I just think with that barrier draw, the blinkers going on, the extra run under the belt for Autumn Boy, he can narrow that gap. Whether or not he can fully close that gap, I'm not quite sure.
And just on odds-on favourites in the Doncaster, what were you telling me on the weekend? Winks was $1.80.
Yep.
But how many other odds-on favourites have we had in a Doncaster?
No, you've got to go back 100 years.
100 years?
1926 for the last odds-on favourite in a Doncaster.
So since 1926, Winks the only odds-on favourite in a Doncaster, who famously won.
Yeah.
And there's a chance she could start odds-on.
There's every chance because she's been so popular the last few weeks. She was very, very popular in the Randwick Guineas. 3 times more money on her in the Randwick Guineas than we saw on Autumn Boy. So we'll wait and see.
Yep.
But she's a very, very popular horse with punters.
Now, was there any need to change the market to what you had in the Australian Derby with Observer at 3, Green Spaces at 350 and Storm Leopard at 450?
No, I didn't make any changes. I think the big thing with the Australian Derby this year is balancing up the form through the Rosehill Guineas and through the Tulloch, which is a bit tricky this year because you've got Group 1 Rosehill Guineas, Group 2 Tulloch. The Rosehill Guineas run at a slow pace and they finish with small margins, whereas the Tulloch run at a fast pace and with big margins. So generally, you'd lean towards the faster pace, stronger overall time, big margins. But I just defaulted to the Rosehill Guineas, just thinking that maybe there was a little bit more class in that race. So I've got Observer, the favourite, at $3 in front of Green Spaces at $3.50. Green Spaces, the eye catcher there, but Observer did have that 180 SP. So I've left him as favourite. Storm Leopard's on the third line there at $4.50. I think there will be plenty of punters mounting the argument, just from what I said, that fast run race through the Tulloch, the 7-day backup, which has been good in a derby before. But yeah, at this stage, pretty tight the betting, those top 3, just slightly leaning towards the Rosehill Guineas form line there. Federalist is on the next line with Road to Paris. He's a maiden, trying to break through in the Australian Derby. Road to Paris through the New Zealand Derby form. He's an $11 chance. There was actually one change I did make throughout the barrier draw. I went 26 out to 34 for Victoria's Spirit, who drew the outside gate. As soon as I went 34, I wrote a bet of $500 at the $34. So he's back to 26. Right. So in fact, no changes, but there was one change mid-draw.
Okay, TJ, Sires, Country Championships, they'll go to final field today.
Yep, keep an eye out today. Tab.com.au will be first to market.
Okay, talk to you on Thursday on Form Line.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. There's Tim Ryan. So that's our Doncaster Derby barrier draw. Road to the Championships tonight. We'll go through all the ramifications of the Doncaster and the Derby, and then the full Form Line on Thursday night, ahead of a big coverage coming up on Saturday for day one of the Championships right here on Sky Thoroughbred Central.
The Championships Day 1 with 4 spectacular Group 1 events. Sydney's famous Doncaster Mile, an electrifying sprint showdown in the TJ Smith Stakes, the Australian Derby for top-ranked 3-year-olds, and juveniles take another shot at glory in the Inglis Sires. Plus, the life-changing $1 million Evergreen Turf Country Championships final. Live from Randwick, Saturday.